Hello my friends and welcome back to another video where today we will be discussing a variety of things which at the same time are all linked together, which in order is around the Tolkien estate and their impact on the show, how faithful the show will be, along with a little tidbit on diversity at the end. I know I've been asked to make a video around the Tolkien estate and explaining that for quite a while. This video will also include quotes from sources affiliated with the show who have enough of an understanding to give their judgment on how faithful it will be, with a little small thing at the end around the 1 year anniversary of that set picture. But enough of this now, let's get right into it. So firstly, let's discuss the Tolkien estate. I often get asked how much are the Tolkien estate involved, happy, restricting Amazon, vetoing, etc. I will explain all that now. The main thing that people who are worried about the show usually say is that, oh, at least the Tolkien estate are involved, that gives me some reassurance. This belief often gets to me, as there are actually a few reasons as to why this isn't entirely reassuring or correct. Disclaimer, here on out I'll be using and explaining the internal understanding I have and know about this Amazon show as well. The first bit is around veto rights and the estate restricting Amazon from doing certain things. This originally came from an interview with the German Tolkien Society by Tom Shippey, where he said, quote, "The Tolkien estate will insist that the main shape of the Second Age is not altered. Sauron invades Eriador, is forced back by a Númenórean expedition, is returned to Númenor. There he corrupts the Númenóreans and seduces them to break the ban of the Valar. All this, the course of history must remain the same." Here, he is mostly correct, as when Amazon first bought the rights for the $250 million for a TV adaptation of Tolkien's works, in that deal it was basically outlining you cannot contradict the main themes and quote shape of the Second Age, and in that quote Shippey also explains the quote main beads. So Amazon can't have, for example, in the canon, and I put that in quotes as I know this is quite a loose term when referring to Tolkien, but let's say around the year 1600 of the Second Age in the canon, Sauron forges the One Ring. That cannot in no way be changed by Amazon, as it contradicts the main beats and story of the Second Age, like Thomas Shippey said in his interview. For example, Gil Galad, an elf, cannot forge the One Ring. The estate wouldn't let that. But around the year 1600 of the Second Age, in the same time frame as when the One Ring is forged, if across the Anduin and the Misty Mountains there are a pack of half-orcs crossing into Eriador, that is fine and can be added by Amazon, as that inclusion does not affect the quote main shape of the Second Age. Similarly, if Amazon adds orcs attacking a Gwathulin village while this happens, the estate won't care, as it does not contradict the main beats of the Second Age. Finally, if there are some homosexual elves, this is just an example, in the Great Imradain, but the elven rings are still forged in secret by Celebrimbor, the Tolkien estate won't care, as that doesn't contradict the beats and the main shape of the Second Age, as the rings are still forged no matter who or what the elves in the Great Imradain are, whether they be people of colour, whether they be mixed race, etc., or homosexual. That does not matter, as it does not affect the one with the rings being forged by Celebrimbor. That needs to happen. So I hope you can see the point I'm trying to get at here, is that as long as certain events like the forging of the 3 elven rings, One Ring, capture of Sauron to Númenor, the sinking of the Islands in Kingdom, etc., all happens, then the other bits in between that are added that don't affect the main beats and chapters of the Second Age, the Tolkien estate won't intervene, and they haven't. Which leads me onto the potential of vetoes by the Tolkien estate onto Amazon on certain changes, where Shippey said, quote, "Yes, the Tolkien estate keeps a very careful eye on everything and is quite capable of saying no. They retain a veto over everything that concerns Tolkien. retaining a veto and being quite capable of saying no, then actually doing it is two very different things. Will the Tolkien estate reject a proposal from Amazon? This is just a theoretical example which said, hey, we're going to have some black elves in the show, this is what we are doing. Will the Tolkien estate seriously in 2021 reject the idea and reject Amazon from having POC elves, hobbits, Numenorians? Hell no. Will the Tolkien estate want to face articles from tabloids and news articles with headlines such as "The Tolkien estate are rejecting the use of POC actors for major roles in the Amazon show"? Will the Tolkien estate is not allowing black actors to have major roles in the show? They won't. And that scenario will never happen based on how this show is quite diverse and how diverse it will look. You want some prime evidence? Look at the cast. I hope this serves as a reality check for some people who think the Tolkien estate is a colossal barrier to stop Amazon from making changes, and additional evidence is the inclusion of the Harfords and the diversity of the cast so far in the show. The Tolkien estate are not directly stopping and prohibiting Amazon on anything like that. Also, in general, which partly leads into faithfulness, the Tolkien estate has received and accepted a 250 million bid for the rights, and when the show will come out, will probably earn high amounts in royalties and further payments from Amazon as well, which is why I'm sorry, but the Tolkien estate won't be stopping or prohibiting virtually anything, and from what I do know about the show, they really haven't. Do the Tolkien estate really care that they might annoy a large number of book fans and purists? They won't. If they did, they wouldn't have sold the rights in the first place to Amazon if it was their real intentions. Once you put 500 million in front of someone or a group, heck, if you put 500 million in front of me, I will let you shave all my hair off. And translating that scenario into the Tolkien estate, we will let you, with brackets Amazon, do almost anything except what we agreed with in our initial deal, which is just stick to the main events of the Second Age, don't change that, and then with the rest you have creative freedom and you can make choices on casting, etc. Which also leads on to those rumours of the Tolkien estate being happy with their progress so far. They very well might be, but if I got paid 250 million with the potential of more revenue, and all I had to do really is once every 6 or 10 months is say you are happy with the show and the progress it's making, heck, make me a billionaire. The Tolkien estate being happy does not mean much. It is not in the Tolkien estate's or Amazon's interest to be restricting and stopping certain proposals. If so, they would have never sold the rights in the first place. I am sorry to say that. I will touch upon the potential ramifications and consequences the Tolkien estate will receive from fans in the future due to this Amazon show, but these problems isn't here yet, but in a year's time once the show comes out, trust me there will be and these debates, which is once some fans see the show and how diverse, and yes, there are people of colour in major / traditional roles, the conversation will go from is Amazon woke to is the Tolkien estate woke, as that will be the new questions that will be brought up due to what Amazon have done with the show. And I'm not going to say my opinions on that. I don't really like using the word and terms woke. I just think it just does more problems than solves anything really. But that will start to come up and we will see it 100%. Similarly, this can be translated to die-hard purists. Have the Tolkien estate really allowed Amazon to take that much liberty with certain things? For example, the Harfoot news being only one of a few, but we shall see. Now, onto faithfulness. Here is again a quote from a source who has a deep enough knowledge and understanding from the show overall to make a judgment. It is, quote, "As you know, the actual stories of the era that the show centers on are relatively sparse, so they have to flesh out these stories with their own tales, their own characters, and I have no doubt that will upset some people. But my understanding is that they are contractually bound to not mess with the stories that are published. But within these terms, yes, I think there is a lot of respect for the law, and a lot of law in it. So from that overall judgment to end on a positive, the show we can tell that there will be a lot of liberties and creations by Amazon due to the fact that there is so sparse material that Amazon can use to create a cohesive narrative, but lore wise, Amazon looks like they have tried to incorporate a lot of lore into it. I hope this either gives context or is reassuring. So leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I know today is the 20th, but yesterday was the 19th, which was the 1-year anniversary of what put Fellowship of Fans on the map. That icy mountainside set picture. I'm trying to do a nice little anniversary surprise, but I'm having to still pull a few strings, so no promises there, but stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching, I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, but until the next video my friends, goodbye.